If you own a horse and wagon and move quietly through the countryside, you're simply continuing an old rural tradition, as we discussed earlier in an earlier section. But of course, that's not really the case. Once you actually try to travel, stop, rest horses, camp temporarily, or survive outside the normal housing system, the rules become far more complicated. So what are the key legal issues that face the horse-drawn folk in the UK? Living on the road, waterways or off-grid in the UK, a dicky dread. This is part 10 in the video series, still on chapter 1, types of travellers and off-grid folk. So horse-drawn travelling revisited. So continuing from the previous section on horse-drawn travellers, additional regulations apply. Under the Highway Code, horse-drawn vehicles must follow safety rules such as using lights at night, keeping horses under control and avoiding major roads where possible. The Animal Welfare Act 2006 also applies. This law requires that horses used for travel are properly cared for, including adequate feeding, rest and veterinary treatment. Horse-drawn travellers can also face practical difficulties finding suitable stopping places, particularly because grazing land for horses is often needed alongside space for vehicles or wagons. And one of the horse-drawn friends once said to me that if you're doing this on your own, going to the shops can be a nightmare. Right, horse-drawn travelling, key legal points. There is no separate legal category for horse-drawn travelling. It is basically treated under the same framework as any roadside encampments. Use of the land without permission may constitute trespass, which is primarily a civil matter, and landowners can seek possession through the courts. Police powers may apply where conditions are met under the Criminal Justice and Public Order Act 1994, powers to direct groups to leave land, and applies where vehicles are present, which can also include the wagons. Additional powers come under the Police Crime Sentences and Courts Act 2022 and offence of residing on land without consent or with a vehicle. Local authorities may act through eviction proceedings, site management powers, and the use of Public Spaces Protection Orders or Anti-Social Behaviour Crime and Policing Act 2014. Use of the highway is regulated under the Highways Act 1980 because of obstruction and the Road Traffic Regulation 1984 under restrictions and orders. Horses introduce additional legal responsibilities. This comes under the Animal Welfare Act 2006, which is duty of care, and the Highways Act 1980, which is control of animals on highways, and local bylaws may restrict grazing or tethering. Tethering and grazing may be treated as trespass if on private land, and can lead to seizure of animals in some circumstances. Identification and control. Horses may be seized if considered stray or abandoned, and enforcement varies by local authority. In practice, horse-drawn groups often face faster enforcement than vehicle dwellers. Visibility and animal welfare concerns increase scrutiny, and suitable stopping places are extremely limited. And the legal basis. This comes primarily derived from the Criminal Justice Public Order Act 1994, the Police Crime Sentences and Courts Act 2022, the Highways Act 1980, the Animal Welfare Act 2006, the Anti-Social Behaviour Crime and Policing Act 2014. So horse-drawn travelling is not simply about culture or transport. It's about visibility, land access, and who is permitted to move through society differently. So many of the conflicts surrounding travellers may have less to do with safety and land use, more to do with pressure towards fixed, regulated living. Which means the issue may not just be wagons, horses or roadside stopping. It might actually be whether modern society can tolerate lifestyles that fall outside permanent settlement and conventional housing. And if that's the case, what happens to people whose entire culture was built around that movement? Next up, we've finished with looking at the different types of travellers, and we're going to move on to sections, or 3 sections we'll cover in the next part, called Different Cultures, Similar Challenges, Why the Law Treats Everyone the Same, and Scotland and Northern Ireland, Key Differences.